Hey everyone. Okay, let us begin. So lots of announcements, lots of time off, which is great. Family and Friends is on Feb 25th. So add that into Roots if you want to take that off. Cool. So I'll try and make this discussion. I feel that's a little updated at the moment, but I just wanted to run through quickly on Q1 OKRs. So Cross posted in, Steve posted in Slack. I assume he posted it in Infra Lounge as well. I didn't see it there, but just as a kind of overview, no great direction shift on the infra department side. But how delivery will be contributing into this is we're going to continue working to migrate Redis. That's likely to be at least a couple of quarters, I think. We'll be pairing up with scalability on that one. And then I've worded this one as a move to hands-off deployments without increasing MTTP. So the big part of this is going to be all around post-deployment migrations and picking up the work that Myra's been planning out so that we can actually roll back more of our packages and make deployments a bit safer. And then the other bit, which I've kind of hooked into this, is like theoretically, we could switch to hands-off, like we could switch to automated deployment today. But one of the big risks is around visibility. So we lost some of our deployment visibility when we migrated to Kubernetes. We had a little bit more insight during the deployment process on VMs than we currently do. So I think it's probably worth us adding in some sort of increased health checks and also bringing back some of that deployment visibility. And hopefully what that means is that we won't get quite so many pings on incidents because that information will be a little bit more visible to people outside the team as well. So I've bundled them under the same sort of heading, but those are roughly the sort of pieces that I'm hoping we'll be able to get to this quarter. Are there any questions around OKRs? Awesome. And then the other bit on G3 is I'm working on transitioning the kind of like translating all the ideas that we had in the platform direction discussion. So thanks for all of those. I'm trying to distill those down and put them into what could be a delivery strategy for this year. A lot of the things, like some of the things we've proposed are either multi-year things or we may not start them until sort of later on in this year. But I'll put up an MR and share that all with you later on this week. Awesome. Myra.
Yes, thank you, Amy. Just an update about the reorder of the pipeline. We are getting quite close to actually test it. And just a little refresher, this is basically changing how we deploy. Today we deploy from staging, canary, and production. Well, first we deploy staging canary, then staging, then canary, and then production. And then this change will basically move the canaries to be deployed first, and then staging in production to be deployed roughly at the same time. So it is kind of a big change. I am particularly excited by this. And well, given this week is basically the preparation for the release, I'm not sure if we could start testing this week. It really depends on how this week it is going to go. I am crossing my fingers for a very boring week, but who knows? So yeah, worst case scenario, I guess we will start testing this after the 22nd, which is also very close.
Awesome. Yeah. Thanks for the update. That's great. And if anyone does have, there are a few bits around sort of, there are a few issues on that epic that are like not reorder or pipeline type tasks. So if people do have capacity to pick up things, then this would be a great one for us to get wrapped up. This is kind of our, it's not really an official Q4 OKR anymore since we've finished Q4, but this is kind of the last few steps of wrapping up those Q4 tasks. But great, that's great progress. Nice.
Awesome. So I also have the next item, and Amy already mentioned about that we are going to work about removing the post-deployment migrations from the coordinated pipeline. And that basically means just removing the post-deployment migrations from staging and from production into its own independent pipeline that is going to be executed at least once a day. That is kind of in a nutshell. And we already have some issues that are ready to be picked up, mainly the first three that talk about adding visibility about the number of pending post-migrations, having also visibility about the relationship between which package introduce which post-migrations, and also to build notifications around the post-deployment pipeline. Those are ready to be picked. If anyone has interest or is free to pick those up, those will be a good place to start.
Awesome, thanks for getting those ready, Myra. For everyone else, this would be a super good epic to have a read through and make sure you're kind of like aware of the changes, and if you have any questions and things, to raise those. Like, we could do like a team kickoff if that's useful. This is going to be a reasonably sized shift for release managers, so it will affect all of us at some point in the future.
I have one question to that. Is the post-deployment migration, taking it out of the deployment pipelines, is this necessary for the step before that you want to change the order so that we deploy to both canaries at the same time? Or is this independent from that one?
It is independent. It is independent. And ideally doing that change, removing the jobs from the coordinated pipeline, will be done after the reorder, because otherwise doing those at the same time is going to be tricky. But we still have some issues that we can start working right now. In the meantime, we wait for the testing of the reordering pipeline.
Okay, thanks. I was just thinking if maybe it would be better to first be able to see if a post-deploy migration works in staging, and then later do the same in production, right? And with the reordering, it looks like you would start, post-deploy migrations are done at the main stage, right? Not in the canary stage. Okay, yeah, then that stays the same. Okay, got it.
Yeah, also in the reordering, it is going to be like, we are going to deploy to staging first, and then the production deployment is going to start 30 minutes later or something like that. Then the post-deployment migrations for staging are going to run, and the post-deployment migrations for production are only going to run once the post-deployment migrations for staging have finished, just like a safety measure.
Awesome. So I'm kind of interested, like we can see how people feel about this, like maybe we check in the next delivery weekly, but have a think about, like we've done in the past year or so, we've run projects in different ways. Sometimes we have like a weekly sync and a demo. Some of them we've done fully async. So maybe that'll be a good one for us to check in next week when everyone's had a like read through and have a think about what do we want to do for this project. Would it be useful to have demos, or do we want to go async as we've done with the canary reorder? Like there's pros and cons to both, right? So it'd be good to have a look at that as well. Awesome. Are there any other questions people want to run through, or comments about anything Myra shared, or kind of direction for this year? Okay, awesome. So on H, I just wanted to say thanks for all the retro comments so far. If there is anything anyone else wants to add, or any other things we want to add, then I've set a due date for end of this week. And we can wrap it up and sort of close out, set some actions from the suggestions so far. Awesome. Cool. And then one thing I wanted to sort of use to jump into the section 2 for release managers questions. So Mari, you actually added this on the retro about the fact that release management's getting kind of increasingly hands-on and there's lots of kind of pieces to coordinate. But I'm curious, like, is there anything based on the last week or two that we can actually we should be prioritizing to start reducing the like overhead, like the burden on release managers?
That is a good question. I don't think I have anything in my head right now to reduce the overhead of release manager. I think it is basically a combination of the things that we need to be on top, mainly incidents, the security release, the patch releases, the auto deployments. I'm not sure if there is like an item right now that could help us reduce the overhead other than having documentations and all our tools in place.
Is there anything, Ahmad, that like, if you could wave a magic wand, is there anything that would like be magically easier or less manual?
Incidents. Like get rid of incidents? No, I don't think there is anything actually like most of the overhead coming like through me, like for me is coming from the incidents. But other than that, I still don't know, to be honest. Like I'm still not confident enough like to say what could be like the thing.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. I'm actually intentionally quizzing you because I think people who are new are like, why am I doing all these 10 things? But if there's any of those sorts of things, feel free to. We may have done it like that forever, but we can change, right? So, but yeah,
I just thought of an idea, Amy. Well, basically, the security releases is still very, very complicated, and this pains me to say it because I am very close to that process. But there are some items that we need to do that are very manual, like checking all the merge requests have been deployed to production. There is no tool to do that. We need to do that manual. Like keeping an eye of the security releases, ensuring the backports are merged, and ensuring the merge request, the file to master is merged. Those are very manual right now, and given the security releases include 20 issues or so, it takes time. It is very human error, error prone. So perhaps we can automate those or start automating those.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Yeah. Do you want to like maybe have I'm going to guess we probably have issues for a lot. I know we have so many of these issues already. Do you want to maybe have a look and see if there's like, what do we think is the most painful one, and we could prioritize that ahead of the others, and actually see if we can drip in some of these security release improvements.
Sure.
Awesome, thanks for that. Yeah, I think it's a great suggestion. Cool. And then B is, I appreciate this is super manual process still. We should absolutely find a way to automate this. But like, just wanted to add in here, like I went through the deployment blockers, just wanted to check in on whether we have all the labels for B1 and 2. We don't have to discuss, but if you could just do a check whether there's anything missing there.
Yes, I have a question for your question. Perhaps it is me that is not understanding the labels, but if the staging deployments were blocked for X amount of hours, that automatically implies that the production deployments were blocked by X amount of hours?
Not from the labels, no. So stick all the labels on. I mean, they're probably not like I would assume, I'm just guessing, but say like staging was blocked for 6 hours, production was maybe blocked for like 3 hours, like whatever the time was you would have. So if you were expecting staging to have deployed at like 3 p.m., and then that would give you a production deployment at like 6 p.m. But if staging is delayed by 4 hours and that pushes production back by 4 hours, then label them accordingly. The reason I say that is what I'm hoping we can do is automate off the labels. So be explicit on the labels, like stick the labels on things that blocked us and put the times, and then we can hopefully run reports against that.
Okay, thanks.
Cool, thanks for that. If you've got any better suggestions for how we can do this without the labels, like I know the labels are the kind of overhead. Now, one good thing about the labels is if we have fully labeled incidents, we can get like the root cause and we can get the service and we can actually pull extra data. But at the same time, I know it is a manual task. If you have like, if we have ideas for how we can remove the manualness, then please do go ahead and make them. I'd love this to be like, it just happens, right? Like our pipeline gets blocked and it knows what it's blocked on and it knows how long it's blocked for, and it just can tell us. That would be amazing. Awesome. Is there anything else anyone wants to bring up on the recording? Nope. Okay.